Thank you. Okay. Visiting this past, looking back to this past game, once again, the game comes down to a few possessions, few plays. Um, that always, that hasn't been the case the past few years with Georgia. I do feel like our team did some very good things in this game. We talked about defensively starting much faster. We certainly did that. First 7 possessions played extremely well, as good as we could play defensively with 6 punts and a turnover on downs. That was big. It was a big emphasis for us. So I was pleased with the urgency to start faster. Offensively, I feel like we were plays away. There was possessions. That was a game that went to obviously I think it was 5 minutes in the third before there was a score. And so it was going to be a game of field position, taking advantage of some opportunities. I felt like we had a couple good drives going. The penalty really hurt us when we're in the scoring zone. We're about to inside the 30, I want to say, in driving, and we get the penalty that set us back. That was a huge penalty for us. Cost us points in field position. A dropped touchdown. It's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to a few possessions. You look at their scores; they come off the first score of the game comes off a 39-yard drive, one-play drive. So field position off a bad punt, which doesn't happen. We all know Max has been one of the best punters in the United States, if not the best. He missed one, but it comes off a 39-yard drive, one-play drive that DeAndre Swift, again, you have to give him a lot of credit. He's an incredible player. Made 2 guys miss, one-play drive. That's the way that game's going to go. And then the next possession the next scoring drive was, I want to say, a 31-yard drive. So it was going to be a game of field position and capitalizing on some mistakes of the other team. So, but I thought our team did a lot of good things. Really pleased with the effort, the attitude, the preparation. Really felt like we went in there with a mentality to win the game. Had a great opportunity to do that. I'm looking forward to getting back out there today with our team. If we prepare and have the right mindset like we did in the past 2-3 weeks, I feel good about our opportunities. We know Missouri is a very good football team, very well coached. I have a lot of respect for Barry and his staff and his program. They play extremely hard. They didn't have the result they were looking for a week ago, like we didn't. It'd be a very good game. Excited to get back home and play.
How encouraging is it as a program to lose everything you did in the offseason and see the defense progress the way it has throughout the year?
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the progress and the way the defense is improving. Certain guys are improving, and that is very good to see. I feel like there were some inconsistencies at times this year with our standards as far as how hard we play. And I think these guys are understanding that and playing very hard and playing more and more confident. And so I'm pleased with that progress. If we keep that mentality for the second part of the season here and continue to improve, then I like our chances.
You look at that midfield staying there where you saw them on fourth down, and something you can point to the D line and the backers. You just say, like, hey guys, this is
well, absolutely, and that was a big stand, and Georgia is big and is physical as an offensive line, is well coached as any offensive line you're going to play. And so, I thought it was a really good job there. And, we weren't perfect. There was a lot of things, even when they did get some plays. You heard me mention it a week ago. And, with Georgia, you got to contend with their pinch sets and the way they crack and get the ball in the perimeter and make some of your small guys tackle some elite running backs and elite players. Makes it tough. And we were really good at times, and we missed a few.
Vanderbilt moved the ball pretty well using 2 quarterbacks, including one which was a runner. How did that give Missouri problems?
Well, Vandy just did a nice job overall. I thought they played good in all sides, played extremely hard at home, and they did keep them off balance. And I don't know. I'm not in Vandy's locker room and in their meetings, but they do a good job with what they have. And I think we're going to have to look at all options again. I'm not sitting here trying to throw you guys for a loop or anybody else. The situation is what it is with our quarterback situation. And I thought Lynn did some really good things that are hard to see all the time. You put on that film, and again, he is relentless, just extremely tough. Had some really tough yards. Had two critical scrambles again that both got called back with penalties. And the one penalty early on, I need an explanation. I don't know. So it's just very frustrating. There were some holds later that were no-brainers. They were holds. But the one early on Logan, I need an explanation. And then because it happens to us all game. But Lynn made some incredible runs on the design runs. Sure, he made some mistakes. That kind of defense is going to pose a problem for anybody that's back there playing quarterback. Again, if I'd ask all of you, prior to the game, who would have more total yards at the quarterback position, I think we would take that. And, so Lynn did some really good things. Obviously, they make it difficult. They are very, very good defensively, very big and disruptive, and did a nice job. But I am proud of Lynn and the things he did. But this week we gotta again look at the best options, all options, to help us move the football, and hopefully Sawyer will be back to near 100%.
When you talk about facing elite players, how do you carry that momentum of facing a guy like Jake Fromm and then taking it to face a guy like Kelly Bryant, who's obviously well recognized like Fromm?
We're used to it as far as the league. It's brutal each and every week. It's going to be difficult. It is what it is. Our guys understand that. So it's just a new challenge. It's the challenge of the week, and Kelly's had a really good year and can make all the throws. He could certainly hurt you with the run game. They have some design Q run game as well that puts a lot of pressure on you with as well as they throw the ball and how fast they are at receiver. Yeah, the penalty was one. A drop touchdown was another. So that's two of them right there, and you're not going to get a lot of opportunities. But they tightened it down. They did a nice job with caging in some of our perimeter run game, forcing us to hit it up inside with some, even with the Q, with Lynn, and that's where they're big and strong and physical. So you could see we got some good, we got some yards on the perimeter, but it wasn't big explosive plays. It was 5, 6, and they were, forcing us to take some of that read inside, and they're pretty physical in there.
No, every game is important, but do you look at this one, especially with that weird situation, the second bye week, to go in here and you have fans and have everybody kind of on board going into this one and have a good outcome to kind of take into that second bye week?
Well, yeah, this is an important game. We're back home. Excited to be back home. We need a great crowd. Hopefully we'll have a decent day. Just our luck last Saturday was absolutely beautiful in Lexington, is my understanding. And we go to Georgia and it's 40 and rainy and wind blowing sideways. So hopefully we'll get a good day and get a great crowd. But no, it's an important game. It is important to get this victory. It's the next game. And the bye is what it is. I'll tell you after the game, if we go play really well, then I'm going to wish we were ready to go play the next week. It's just hard to tell what you are with injuries and everything. But we have some guys banged up. Even our linebackers are starting to get banged up. Cash is beat up. We're getting some injuries, mouth on him a little bit. Our outside linebacker position, with Josh Pascal and Jordan Wright are both getting a little bit dinged up. So I'm gonna have to bring along, maybe JJ and Jared here this week. Bring those guys and get them some reps.
It's Spanish. They said it was, I think it was dizziness he was dealing with.
Yeah, I don't really want to get into the injury, but he's injured a little bit.
Like you mentioned, he had been in the concussion protocol and you're afraid he had is how concerning, I guess, is that?
Well, anytime you have somebody in the concussion protocol, it's concerning, and doctors do a great job, and we'll continue to monitor all injuries.
What about Kavasi?
Cavassier got a AC joint sprain. That's a pain tolerance deal. So we'll see what happens there.
Still closer.
Phil is closer. Phil should be out there this week. Like I said, I think we got to look at with the bye after this week. Not it's 5 games. We have 5 games and then the bowl game. So we have to look at the redshirt guys again and just see if there's somebody that could help us. And I think outside backer with JJ and Jared, we have to look at those two and continue to bring them along. Xavier's an option. We'll see. Xavier didn't make the trip with us this past week. I left him at home. It's our job to teach Xavier what our expectations are and how to handle your business here. He has a hard time getting things on time and doing things we ask him to do. So until he gets that straightened out, he won't play.
Why it's rare that Georgia gets him any team that so scores like a half.
Pardon?
What
Yeah.
was it sort of game plan that contributed to that kind of first half that both you guys had, especially you guys?
Well, we did have good field position. We were pinning them. Max was doing such a good job of punting. Our offense moved it enough at times, and just we were flipping field position. We had good field position. We were playing good defense, and that helped. We just limited their explosive plays. Early was the key, and really most of the night it came down to a few possessions. Field position hurt us. Their 2 drives were short fields till the last one.
JJ and Jared, I think right now you're on pace to redshirt that entire freshman class.
Yeah.
How big a deal is that?
No, I've never been able to do that before. I think it is a big deal. It's important. It helps develop your class. You look at those guys and again, you just for this question, you go back and look at last year's team and how experienced they were and how old they are and mature. It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference in this league. It makes a big difference for us because development's important. And sometimes you don't want to get guys when they're just really playing at a high level and boom, they're gone. And if they're good enough to play in the NFL, they'll go anyway. So it is important.
Do you have an update on Isaiah?
Isaiah's no update. Hasn't been out there yet. Like I said last time I talked to you about it, he tried to run and it aggravated it a little bit. So
Missouri kind of the same defensive team they've always had.
they are. They're very similar to the way they've been. And one thing I think you really look at them and they play hard. They really have some guys up front that I really respect the way they play. They play tough. They play physical. Doesn't surprise me. Barry does a very good job. They're very hard nosed and play with a lot of effort and play good.
Their numbers are right up there with Georgia as far as defensively. Have you seen them kind of respond since their stud Garrett went out?
Yeah, I haven't seen. He's a great player. I don't think there's any denying that it's going to change. It's kind of like us when you take Terry out. The leadership that he has and the ability that he has, he's just not there. I'm sure I'm not in their locker room. I don't know. They still play at a very high level. No one guy makes it, but he was certainly a great player.
Can you address the success of Sean Kell knockout?
Yes, Sean Kell checked out a couple, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago or so. Told me he was very much not interested in playing football anymore. So he was lost the motivation and desire to play the game.
Have you ever had a guy, or a scholarship guy, someone who's capable of playing? Just how do you assist?
I don't know. I really like Sean Kell. He's a great person, really good kid, great family. Just want him to be successful. He told me just he wanted to go to school, but I have to try to help motivate him in that area too, but he wasn't interested in pursuing football anymore.
How's Coach Schlarman doing?
Coach Schlarman doing good. He's um, handling things like a warrior, very, very, it's still amazing. Let's put it that way. We don't talk about it as much anymore, but now that you brought it up, I mean, it's the same. He does some amazing things as far as going and getting his treatment, and he's getting some pretty serious stuff. And as soon as that treatment's over, he's right back at the office, not missing a beat.
Josh Allen, another sack yesterday. Just talk about his dominance.
Yeah, that very pleased for Josh and proud of him. Didn't get a chance to see it, but I did hear. It's my understanding that he's leading all rookies. Doesn't surprise me. I know different scouts and different people that come through, and as we talk about Josh, they all speak so highly of him.
How validating is it for you guys as a staff knowing that development just worked to a T and now he's succeeding there?
It's always important. It's important for these guys that are going through tough times right now, they just, they all want it right now, and everybody understands that. As your program gets better and you have guys that are playing at a higher level, you don't need as many young guys, but they have to continue to have that urgency to practice and lift and develop. With today not having school with fall break, we were in there this morning. Our young guys were in there early, and a bunch of us coaches just went through and just went and spent some time with them and going through that weight room, and they were in there getting after it, and that's what they have to do. And they were all in there 100% in there this morning working out, and it was good to see them. A lot of them are changing their bodies, and they're going through a tough time. But Jordan Wright's a great example of that as well. It took some time. It took some time to play. But Jordan was a little disappointed, but as my conversation with Jordan was, we need you to play at a higher level. Like, pick up your game, and it's really good to see him go through a couple tough years, and then he's starting to really play. And he's really grown up, and he needs to continue to do that because he has a lot of upside. He's got to continue to push himself. He's playing through he's banged up, but you know what? He's starting to play at a higher level.
Getting labor just in practice, what have you seen from those guys, and how comfortable would you be?
Yeah, they both have some really good talent, and just like most freshmen, I think they probably get a little discouraged because they feel like they're not playing. So the consistency is there, the urgency in practice all the time, but you see the flashes of it in the ability. So we have to continue to with young people too. You can't take away their hope. They got to have some hope, and that's where with this rule and the ability to play in 4 games, I think helps them down the stretch. And we need them because they're starting to get banged up. So I've seen them do some really good things, but I've also seen them be inconsistent at times, like most freshmen.
Mark, you're 3 and 4 now, and you just got beat by 3 touchdowns. I think you got shut out for the first time in your tenure, and yet a significant portion of the fan base is still expecting you to win the rest of your games, go 8 and 4, and go to a nice ball game. How does that make you feel?
Good. Better than everybody expecting us to lose every game, So, listen, I don't put any. The situation is what it is. I come in here every Monday. I'm the same. It is what it is. I mean, sure, you prepare, you prepare your team, you develop your team, you get them ready to play the game. That's what drives us. That's what motivates coaches. When we're in there on Sunday morning after getting home at 2:30 in the morning, and we're back in there Sunday trying to prepare something to help us win a game, that's what motivates us. Really, by the time I get here Monday at noon, that game was gone. I have to come back and revisit it with y'all, and the way the rules are, we have to with our team as well because we can't meet with them on Sunday. But for us, we're moved on, and it's time as a staff, and that's what motivates us. That's what's fun about it and exciting about it, is getting ready for the next challenge. And you know, you better be ready because this league gets no mercy.
And when we were talking to Brad White, he was saying that on the sidelines, he's starting to see the look in the guy's eyes that you want to see from a top level defense. Are you seeing that look, and what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I think just I'd say it means confidence. You know, they're getting more and more confident that they understand the urgency to execute the defense and then to play at a high level, to do their job and to do it well and do it with some urgency. And you're starting to see that.
As long as your secondary continues to improve, what does that do for you as far as scheming? What things can you do when you start to have more confidence in your secondary?
It can help us at times put a little more stress on them, play with a few more numbers, and get a little firmer in the run game at times.
Are they to that point?
Well, we have done that throughout this year already. You know, the guys have held up in some one-on-one situations quite a bit. This will be probably the biggest challenge of the year in that area because these guys can go. Their receivers can run. They spread you out. They have a quarterback that can make all the throws. So this will be the biggest test of the year.
Billy Bryant has some wheels. For those newcomers who have to contain outside, what kind of stress does it put on them as pass rush?
Yeah, anytime you've heard me talk about it just last week, I believe, in here with the pass rush. When you have a guy that can escape, you have to be disciplined in your rush lanes, and that makes a big difference. You know, because you have to be, like I said, you have to play with some discipline. Sometimes, you know, guys want to come up and under and they get a sack. If you have somebody that can't really run away from you, it doesn't hurt you, but he certainly can. And then you tie in them spreading it out and how they like to spread the field and throw the ball, and then you add in some design cue run, and that always puts stress on you.
Are you worried at all about this game being even hyper officiated based on the little how it ended last year and everything played out, or did they cross your mind at all?
Well, I don't.
Just with the call, like I think Missouri fans might be have feelings about how it ended that are probably different from your feelings.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I could say some things right now. It wouldn't be good. Yeah. No, I'm worried about getting us get a call.
And telling us that he's going to do whatever he needs to do, play whatever position in order to help the team win. As his head coach, it's got to be real difficult striking that balance between doing what's best for the team and what's potentially best for him if they're in conflict. How do you deal with it?
No, I don't. It's not in conflict in his area. You know, if you're just looking at him in his own development, no, I don't think that's a conflict at all because of when you're doing what he's doing. You know, for him himself, he probably actually enjoys that a lot more because the game is truly run through him on every snap, unless he's we flex him out. So he has an opportunity to affect the game each and every play. So for him, I'm sure that excites him. But and it's not going to hurt him for his future if he decides to go to the NFL after this year or has that opportunity. This can only help him. But when the time's right, when we can get him back at receiver, we will welcome him back there as well. And because he's an impact guy at wide receiver, doesn't get the ball every time, but he affects the game at wide out as well. So we'll see what direction the game plan goes this week with who's playing quarterback. Again, Cleavon had a nice catch and really working hard and doing some good things out there as well.
Like Josh Allen, obviously had the one on Saturday. Was that just rain?
Well, yeah, I think it's that, and it was rainy and windy, but also experience. Just doing it. The more and more you do it, certain punts are harder to catch than others, depending on that spin and what's going on with it.
Anyone else?
Now, see more reminder with the open date next week will be no news conference next Monday.
Tomorrow, I think we're going maybe half hour or so earlier too, just FYI.
Okay,
Just because we don't have school and just gonna be done a little bit earlier. Just get them out of here earlier.
Keep an eye on your email and everything. Info on that.